Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video. My name is Ava Onlofred. Today, I am delighted to present my research on Sally Horner's case, a haunting story that captured the attention of the nation in the mid-20th century. In this video, I will not only focus on the detailed aspects of Sally Horner's case, but also draw parallels to the work of American detectives. So, without further ado, let us dive into the depths of this tragic story. To begin our journey, let us first introduce you to Sally Horner, a young girl who became the victim of a horrific crime that shook America. In 1948, at a young age of 11, Sally was lured by a manipulative predator named Frank LaSalle, who pretended to be an FBI agent. Sally's abduction and subsequent ordeal served as a dark reminder of the vulnerability of our society's most innocent members. This not only shed light on the dangers of child abduction and sexual exploitation, but it has also exposed the flaws in the justice system and the social attitudes toward victims of such heinous crimes. In order to present a comprehensive analysis, I have delved into various sources to gather information on Sally Horner's case. These include primary documents such as court records, newspaper articles from the time, and podcast interviews with those connected to the case. Additionally, I have consulted secondary sources, scholarly articles, and books written on the subject. These sources have provided deep insights into the psychological and legal aspects surrounding Sally's abduction. Here's some background information on the victim. Florence Sally Horner was born on April 18, 1937, in Camden, New Jersey. Parents were Russell Horner and Ella Horner. When Sally was 5 years old, her father committed suicide, leaving Ella as a single parent raising her daughter. Next is the offender, Frank LaSalle, a man who had a great extended criminal record. He also suspected of kidnapping and sex trafficking, mostly underage girls, including other illegal activities. He served time in Trenton Prison and was released in January of 1948. Sally's captivity. Now, let us explore the first facet of this case, which is harrowing period of Sally's captivity. For nearly 2 years, Sally endured physical, emotional, and psychological abuse at the hands of Frank LaSalle. In this unequal dynamic, the predator manipulated Sally into believing that her parents no longer wanted her. This manipulation strategy used by abductors is unfortunately not uncommon in cases involving child exploitation. Florence Sally Horner was just an ordinary young girl living in Camden, New Jersey, when she was lured into a web of deceit by Frank LaSalle. Frank LaSalle convinced Sally, as she was known to her friends and family, that he was an FBI agent and threatened her with arrest for stealing a 5-cent notebook unless she complied with his demands. This manipulation and fear tactics made it possible for Frank LaSalle to control Sally and effectively kidnap her. Sally was 11 years of age and Frank LaSalle was 51. The investigation. Moving on to the second aspect of my research, I have investigated the efforts taken by American detectives during that era to uncover Sally's whereabouts. The Sally Horner case shed light on the crucial role played by American detectives who fought against all odds to that fell through the jurisdiction gaps. These dedicated individuals, often in teams, independently, or even private or federal detective agencies assisted in unearthing vital information that had a profound impact on the investigation of this case. In addition, Frank LaSalle took Sally across the state lines to Atlantic City, where he continued to exploit and abuse her. He posed as her father and enrolled her in school, all the while keeping isolated from family and friends. Frank LaSalle's brutal control over Sally was only revealed when her mother, devastated by her daughter's disappearance, finally contacted the authorities and discovered the truth of the situation. Sally was gone for over 21 months. Police and FBI arrested Frank LaSalle in California with Sally. Later on, he was brought to New Jersey to be prosecuted and taken into prison. Sally confessed that they moved to several locations in different states. Legal repercussions. The third facet I would like to discuss pertains to the legal repercussions that followed Sally's tragic experience. Frank LaSalle's capture and conviction had far-reaching implications in shaping the legal landscape concerning crimes against children in the United States. Sally Warner's case emphasizes the need for stricter laws, more consistent jurisdiction, and increased awareness of predatory tactics employed by criminals targeting vulnerable children. Furthermore, this case exposed the flaws in the justice system in both protecting and supporting victims of sexual abuse. Initially, Sally was charged with delinquency and incorrigibility because she had crossed the state lines with her abductor. The application of these charges demonstrate the misunderstanding and victim blaming prevalent at the time. It was only after public outcry that the prosecutor dropped the charges against Sally and focused on convicting Frank LaSalle instead. Importantly, the media played a pivot role in the Florence Sally Warner case, bringing it to the attention of citizens across the nation. The extensive coverage of the case in newspapers and magazines worked to create awareness and generate public pressure for justice. Moreover, the case served as an impetus for educational campaigns and advocacy groups dedicated to combating child exploitation. The Sally Horner case paved the way for significant changes in law pertaining to child abduction and missing children. It led to the inception of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which has since helped countless families and aided in the recovery of missing children. The case also inspired the enactment of laws such as the Lindbergh Law, which made an interstate kidnapping a federal offense, thus giving the FBI the authority to investigate such matters. Beyond legal reforms, the Florence Sally Horner case had a lasting impact on society's perception and treatment of child victims of sexual exploitation. It united communities in grief and outrage over injustices committed against a defenseless young girl like Sally. It brought to the forefront the issue of victim blaming and the importance of providing support and understanding to survivors of any kind of abuse. The Sally Horner case remains a chilling reminder of the perpetual need of vigilance and tireless efforts of American detectives. The horrifying ordeal Sally endured highlights the importance of understanding the psychological tactics employed by manipulative predators, as well as the necessity of continuous improvements in our legal system to protect the innocent. As you reflect upon my research, it is my hope that you appreciate the significance of this investigation case, the role they play in solving heinous crimes. Let us remember Sally Horner's name and strive to prevent such as tragedies from befalling future generations. This highlighted the lack of awareness and understanding surrounding child abduction and sexual exploitation, thus prompting legal and social reforms. We must continue to learn from the mistakes of the past and work towards creating safer environments for all children, ensuring that no child suffers the same fate as Florence Sally Horner. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of Sally Horner's case. May it serve a catalyst for discussion surrounding child safety, justice, and the critical importance of investigators and detectives. This is Abel Onofre, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.